Hi, in the last episode, we learned what machine learning and deep learning really are. In this episode, we'll go a little deeper and take a look at different branches in machine learning. So let's get started. So machine learning or deep learning can be further divided into three branches: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Other than these three, there are some hybrid branches, but I'll talk about them in the next video. Alright, let's take a look at each of these core ML branches one by one. Supervised learning is the most common branch of machine learning. In fact, most of the applications you see these days are examples of supervised learning. Let's take a look at some examples. A house price prediction is a popular supervised machine learning problem where an ML algorithm looks at some features of a house and predicts its price. By the way, when a machine learning model predicts a number, then it's also called a regression problem. There are many types of regression problems out there. For example, localizing objects in an object detection problem is also a type of regression problem. Let's take a look at another example where a machine learning model looks at a picture and classifies it with a category name. This is also a supervised learning example. Also, whenever a machine learning model predicts a class level based on some features, it's also called a classification task or a classification problem. Both classification and regression fall in supervised learning. So, how do we define supervised learning? Well, it's pretty simple. In supervised learning, you first label all the training examples. So if you're doing something like a cat and dog classification, you'll first label all training images with either a cat or a dog. Then you feed all the training labeled examples to the machine learning model. The model then trains or learns from these examples. After it has been trained, we then show the model some test images which it hasn't seen before, and it then makes predictions on these test examples. This whole process is a supervised machine learning process. So to put it in technical terms, in supervised learning, you take feature X, which can be anything from image pixels to house features, and you map it to an output Y, which can be anything from labels to a regression number like house prices. This X and Y is an input-output pair. Since you work with many training examples, you have lots of input-output pairs. The job of a supervised model is to learn this input-output pair relationship. So essentially, you train a model to learn a function that is able to map any unseen input example to an appropriate output. This is supervised learning. Although supervised learning is responsible for most of the AI applications we see today, but the biggest issue with this approach is that it takes a lot of time creating the input-output pairs for training the model. So for example, if you had 10,000 images of cats and dogs, then you'll first have to go and label each with either a cat or a dog label. As I said, this is a very time-consuming process. Let's take a look at another machine learning approach called unsupervised learning, where you don't have to label anything. So in unsupervised learning, you have an input X, but you don't have to map it to an output Y. Here, the goal of the machine learning model is to learn the internal structure or the distribution or patterns in the data. So how is this useful? Well, let's take a look at clustering, which is a type of unsupervised problem. Consider this example. You have lots of unlabeled images of three simple shapes like circles, rectangles, or triangles. All of these images are mixed up. So what you can do is show all these examples to an unsupervised machine learning model. This model will take a look at these examples and learn common patterns, and it will then group them based on similarity. For example, if you have just one feature, like how many corners does an image have, and plot all those examples according to that criteria, then you'll find three groups. Immediately, you'll know the actual class of these clusters. But this is a very basic example, and it isn't always this simple. Suppose if instead of shapes you had three classes of images like cats, dogs, and reptiles, then ideally the clustering algorithm should give you three clusters of images, with each cluster having images of only one class. But this doesn't happen in reality because clustering just based on raw pixels is not meaningful. The algorithm may cluster images with similar background or some other thing. Instead, what you can do is extract some meaningful features and then cluster based on those features. At the end, you can use some metrics to determine if the clusters generated by the algorithm are meaningful or not. Clustering is popularly used in the e-commerce industry to cluster customers into different segments like frequent buyers or people who purchase during sales, etc. This helps in designing customized marketing campaigns. Another type of unsupervised learning is called association. In this technique, you analyze data and discover rules that describes groups of your data. For example, in this method, you find patterns like if a certain data group contains feature A, then there's a high probability it will contain feature B too. So association models helps you associate one variable with another in a data group. Let me give you another example. If you train an association algorithm on customer purchases, then it may tell you things like customers who bought items A also bought item B and C. So if I buy a fan, I may see some useful recommendation. So when you see these excellent recommendations in online stores, running in background are association algorithms. Alright, we have looked at supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Now let's talk about reinforcement learning, which is something totally different. But before I get into reinforcement learning, I first want to show you the necessity for it. So consider, if you wanted to train an AI to walk, then what you could do is attach a ton of sensors to somebody's legs and capture things like angular velocity, acceleration, muscle tension and whatnot. Then feed all these data points to a supervised learning algorithm and then try to train it so that it learns to walk. But here's the thing, this approach will not prove to be much effective because it's really hard to describe how to walk or what particular features to capture or study or focus on in order to learn it to walk. A much better approach would be learning to walk by trial and error, which is what we humans did. And this is what reinforcement learning is. It is used whenever we're faced with a problem which is hard to describe. Google's DeepMind got some really interesting results when they trained AI to walk using reinforcement learning. Just take a look at this. In reinforcement learning, you have an agent which has to interact with some given environment in order to reach its goal. Consider the example of a self-driving car, where the agent is the car and the environment can be roads, people, or any obstacles that the car has to deal with. The objective of this agent or car is to reach its goal or destination while avoiding any obstacles in the way. During the training phase, here's what happens. The agent tries to reach the goal by taking actions. These actions are like moving the car forward, backward, taking turns, slowing down, etc. Now the environment has a state, meaning cars can move towards the agent, an obstacle might block an agent, or anything can happen. As the agent gets closer and closer to the goal, it gets rewarded. This way the agent knows that the actions it took were correct as it was rewarded. Similarly, if the agent makes mistakes, it's punished with a penalty, and this tells the agent that the actions it took were bad. The whole process is repeated in a loop over and over during the training phase until the agent learns to avoid mistakes and reach the goal in a very effective manner. When it comes to AI playing games, reinforcement learning is the go-to approach. In fact, OpenAI's popular 2016 victory against the world's Go champion was built on deep reinforcement learning. So these are three primary paradigms in machine learning: unsupervised learning, supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Be sure to download the infographic from the blog post version of this video. The infographic summarizes all the important points I mentioned in this video. In the next episode of Computer Vision for Everyone and the final video on AI, 4 levels of explanation, I'll talk about hybrid fields of AI, applied fields, AI industries, AI applications, and finally, I'll connect everything we have discussed together and show you how everything relates with each other. It's going to be a very interesting video. So make sure you have watched part 1 and part 2 before that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.